All right, I am back with you guys for Tuesday evening update. This is going to be a live reaction video. Right now, I don't know what question Utica and Trinity 1 are on, but this is the deciding match for Trinity 1. More or less, if they win this match, the rest of the teams they play, they should be able to beat, although there's always surprise upsets. But right now, if Trinity 1 loses to Utica, we will have a 5-way tie for first place. And I can't wait to see this, so let's go into the live settings. Okay, we're here. Can I enlarge this? Oh yeah, that's great. And let's refresh the page. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Question 11. Utica is winning. They have a 15-point lead. Christian has 4 questions correct. And none incorrect. That's a good game. 1 more to go, plus the bonus. Puts them at like 110 points. Then Camden. Oh man, it is anybody's game. Wow. Okay, it's question 11. What can I say? We're just going to have to wait it out. Let's cover some other things that happened. So, post-lunch, round 15 and on. Okay, we have round 15. The Ramseys lose to Utica. Okay, so Utica beats the Ramseys 160 to 90 in room C. Let's see how that match turned out. 16 room C. Okay, so wrong one. Oh no, it was round 15. Room C. Okay. All right. So this is the Ramsey and Utica match. We have Christian with a quiz out and Alyssa with a quiz out. Cameron goes out backwards with a -30. Wow, that's going to hurt his average a ton. Glory Stevens with 20. Graham Hoffman with 40. Now let's just pop over here, okay, and see. We have Camden on Trinity 1 with a 95-point average. They're 20-30 point quizzer. Then we get down to, I don't know, I want to look at Utica. So Christian Stevens, Graham Hoffman, okay, 57-point average. He's been hitting. Graham tends to be the 10-point quizzer, or at least the second chair in how many questions are being hit. And where's Aaron Hoffman? Okay, and he's down here at 51st with a 36-point average when rounded, 19 10-pointers, 3 quiz outs. Okay, so now we go back here and we go room O. We're on question 15. Oh my goodness. Utica may have done it, guys. 110 points left in the game. And Trinity is down by 75 points, right? Yeah, I think 75 points. Christian's out, but Joseph is within range of getting a quiz out. There's 2 10s left, but he's also got 2 negatives, so he's playing cautious. And Aaron, Graham's got 2 10s. Aaron's got 1 and 2 negatives, so he's playing cautious. But Graham is their second chair who gets more questions anyways, typically on a round. So, oh my goodness, this is looking, dude, this might be a 5-way tie for first place at the end of day 2. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's touch some other updates. Round 15, we have San Diego takes another loss, and that was to Naperville, and 70 to 235. Then we have Trinity 1 taking their first loss, okay, which we didn't talk about that. They were undefeated. They took their first loss from the Brookbanks. Now, the Brookbanks going into this, they want to win the match. It's Rachel's final year. They want to win first place at Nationals, and with the 2 losses and Trinity being undefeated, their only hope was that they absolutely needed to beat Trinity, and they needed Utica to beat Trinity, or some miracle match where one of the lower-ranked teams would have a really good match against Trinity and Trinity have a bad match or something like that. So the Brookbanks go in there, and they do a phenomenal job. That is round 16 in Room B. So round 16, Room B, you have Rachel Brookbanks with 55, 3-1, Caleb with 30, Josiah with -10, Hadassah with a quiz out of 100 points, bringing the Brookbanks up to 175. Then you have Trinity 1. Camden has a quiz out with 110 points. He has a pretty good game. Joseph Baharis has 4 questions right, 1 wrong. So they didn't have a bad game, but when you're playing the Brookbanks, there's 10 positive here and 9 positive there, and either 1 went to no response, or 1 was like a quotation completion where there wasn't a reread for it. So a stacked round, and almost every question was hit, gotten correct. Not a lot of negative here. But when you're playing teams like the Brookbanks, they can shut you out so easily. And it was a pretty good game, all things considering. Pretty clean, both high-scoring rounds, but the Brookbanks did a little bit better and stole the undefeated status from Trinity. Okay, and Utica takes a loss in round 16. Oh, that's what we were just talking. No. Utica played Naperville, and Naperville beats Utica in round 16, Room N. So as we're waiting for the rounds to finish here, we'll just take a look at some of these stats here. So round N, we have Utica with 65 points. Christian goes out backwards, but he does have 4 correct. So it wasn't like a total wash of a game, but not that high scoring for him either. Graham has 4 questions correct as well, and looks like a 20-pointer wrong. And then the Powells, Sheldon has a good game, 125. That's actually consistent with his average right now. So he's having an average for him game at Nationals. With a quiz out, Shaylee Powell has 4 questions correct and 1 missed, and Seamus 1-1, bringing their totals up to 195. That is great. So that's round 16. Round 17, we have a loss from San Jose. Now, who beats San Jose? Bellevue. The Care Bears beat San Jose. Yes, that's right. Care Bears, San Jose. That's Room P, round 17. So, let's check this out. Okay. Sam Clinston, 100-point quiz out. Elizabeth Gadavarthy, she is right now the number 1 10-point quizzer at Nationals, taking, looks like 4 10s and a 20 for the quiz out. And San Jose doesn't have a bad match either. They have 4, Sam has 4 correct, and Hansel has 4 correct as well. 1 negative, so they had a good match. They just didn't close the deal with those quiz outs, which cost them 40 points. The 40 points, well, if they were 2 10-pointers, that would be 60 points, which would have put them at 205 or 215. So, very tight game there. It wasn't a bad game, but Bellevue just got better hits and just outplayed them on that match. So now we are at, let's see what the refresh is. Oh my goodness. We are on the final question here with Utica and Trinity 1. Final question, 135. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What just happened? Utica had it in the bag. Now it's totally flip-flopped. It's one. Oh, Trinity wins. Trinity just pulled off the win, beating Utica. Oh my goodness. What a flip-flop. Oh, looks like Trinity had 2 unsuccessful contests. Oh my goodness. Camden got a quiz out. Wow. That's it. I mean, that's it. There's no way. Even if the last question isn't done, Trinity just did it. I mean, if you look here at the top is Trinity. They beat Utica at round 18, and you go here. The teams they're playing, they are likely to win. Okay? Not to knock any of these teams, but Trinity's a good team. So, I mean, the biggest one here is Deeper Church. Deeper Church has a real possibility of beating them, but, you know, a 2-man team, it's just hard. 2-man teams versus 3-man teams are hard, but Deeper has a real shot, especially if Trinity has an off game. San Diego, Braeswood beat Naperville, so Braeswood could beat Trinity as well. San Diego won. They're a good, solid team. If Trinity has a bad team, a bad round, I mean, then San Diego could take it. Bellevue is a great team, and San Jose beat the Brookbanks. They could easily do it if they have a good game, depending on how it goes. But more or less, like, the big rounds are decided for Trinity as long as they play clean games. This national championship is theirs. Like, it's theirs, because they're not likely to take another loss, even though they could, because, I mean, a bad game can happen. They just have to play really consistent and not mess anything up, you know. It's going to be hard. The perseverance race is on. Whereas you have the Brookbanks, tomorrow they have to play Utica, and some of the yellow teams are all teams that at the start of today had a 130 average and higher. Some of those have flipped now. So, and I should adjust for that, but the Brookbanks have at least one tough round left that they could lose. Naperville they have to make up 2 losses. So the Brookbanks, it's looking tight. And the Brookbanks have, that's it. They only have Utica left to play. And Naperville still has the Ramseys to play tomorrow, round 26. The Ramseys only have Naperville to play. and Utica tomorrow plays the Brookbanks, and that's it. So if we look here at our stats, we have here, there it is, Trinity 17-1. Utica gets bumped down to 6th place from, what, second or third? I think they were second or third. And so we have the Ramseys in third, Deeper Church, Two Little Piggies in fourth, or tied for second, a three-way tie for second. If Trinity takes any loss, it's going to put this into more than likely a playoff by the end of it. But Trinity is done playing the Brookbanks, the Ramseys, Naperville, Utica. They have to play San Jose. They have to play Deeper Church. Brookbanks, Ramseys, you guys really are hoping. You need to hope and pray Deeper Church beats Trinity 1 or Braeswood or one of the other teams. Deeper Church now being the highest ranked of the teams left to play are the best bet for beating Trinity 1. So let's look at individual scores real quick, and we'll finish up this video. Wow, this has just been insane. I can't believe this. What a turnaround. So Sheldon with a 124-point average, 1,955, and he's at almost 300-point difference between second place. Sheldon is increasingly locking in his first individual. At this point, I think it's fairly locked in that Sheldon is the #1 quizzer at the 2022 national competition. I mean, anything can happen, but it's pretty locked in at this point. 84% accuracy, 38 30-pointers out of 18 rounds. That's a lot. What's the math there? 18 times 3, 54. He's taken more than 2 30-pointers every single round. That's very impressive. Very impressive. He's quizzed out 17 times. Now let's look at Shreya. Okay, Shreya now, she had a couple bad matches, and she is no longer at a perfect quiz outs. She had the last 2 matches she didn't quiz out forward, and so her perfect quiz out forward record is now flawed. Sorry, Shreya. You were doing amazing. We were all watching and hoping for you. Keep up the good work. Don't get discouraged. Now for 10-pointers, we have 49 10-pointers by Simeon, 46 by Caitlin Ramsey, 56, come on, Joseph Baharis, 48 by Graham Hoffman, 46, Hadassah, 42 and 42, Alyssa Ramsey, Sarah Lynn, 52 by Joy Escobar, 64 by Chris John. Is that? I think that's the highest right now, 64. Come on, Chris Emmanuel John for the top 10-pointers so far at Nationals. Katie Little with 51 10-pointers. 9 quiz out forwards. Chris has 10 quiz out forwards. Then you have 62. Elizabeth Gadavarthy has 62. So Chris Emmanuel John has just surpassed Elizabeth Gadavarthy for top 10-point quizzer. 56 by Micah DeSanto. 58 by Ava Chassot. Come on, Ava. Good job. Way to go. 6 quiz outs. Wow. So, I guess that's it. I mean, let's see. Let's refresh the page. And the rounds are decided. Utica takes the loss. Marietta, another loss there. And so they're dipped down to 11th place. Yeah, so that's it for day 2. Wow, exciting stuff. Trinity may have just won it with that match. That was the most critical match. Utica had it in the bag, and then Trinity just started. They put the pedal to the metal and really pulled off a turnaround match. That was an impressive turnaround match. 20-point leader, Sam Jabarij, 56. Ooh, Sam Clinston from the Care Bears, Bellevue, 64 20-point questions. 63 from Christian Stevens. So it looks like Sam Clinston has the most 20-pointers. And just look at the stats. Okay, so the Brookbanks have maintained a very impressive average at 244. I think their average actually went up throughout today, and 79% accuracy. So they're actually quizzing a little more accurate than Trinity is. Not quite what the Ramses or Deeper Church is doing, but very up there. I mean, it's very tight there. Naperville's at 77, so the Brookbanks are actually quizzing more accurately than Naperville and then Utica, and San Jose's got 80% accuracy. That's really great. So, but check out this. Brookbanks have more 30-point questions than any other team. And look at their 20s, 114. So they have over Naperville, they have one more 30-pointer over Naperville. And for 20s, they have 12 more 20-point questions than any other team. Now, 10-point questions, 94, 95. Collectively, they are second with most 10s, just behind Utica, but neck and neck. I mean, Brookbanks they're having a phenomenal nationals. And if Trinity happens to lose a match, the playoff between the teams that are tied, because Ramses are not out, Deeper Church is not out. Now, Deeper Church still has quite a number of tough rounds to play. They still need to play most of I think all of the top 5 teams there besides themselves. They've been in the top 5, but they need to play all of these really tough rounds in the next 2 days. The Ramses just have the one more tough round, which will decide if the Ramses can beat Naperville, and the Brookbanks beat Utica, then there could be a 3-way tie. And then if we throw in Deeper Church as winning all of their rounds, that would make I think a 4-way tie. So, wow. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the Tuesday night update. 24 minutes long. Love you guys. By the way, on a personal note, my baby has not come yet, but it's literally any day now. I did cut my finger making dinner, took right through the fingernail and everything, so I was very eager to cut the green onions fast. So, yeah. Anyways. have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow. The big matches for tomorrow are round 20. Deeper Church plays Trinity 1. Okay? And that is in room C. So second round of the day, Trinity 1 versus Deeper Church. And Deeper Church has a real shot at beating them. That would bump it into like a 4-way tie for first. The other big rounds are Utica and the Brookbanks, round 23, and that's in room G. Round 23, right before lunch, Brookbanks versus Utica in room G. And that will be an intense round because the Brookbanks need to win everything from here on out. They can't afford another loss if they're going to try to pull off the win. So those are the big rounds tomorrow. Oh, and then round 26, we have the Ramseys versus Naperville. And that is going to be round 26 in room E. Ramseys versus Naperville. No, that's not right. I'm going to have to look at this. I think my thing's off. All right. Well, love you guys. Have a good night.